Hello there, this is a video to show the different segmentation types you can do in Subvascular. There's some other videos on path planning and kind of lofting of the segmentations and how to orient them well, but this one's more on the different types of segmentations you can do, as you can see here in these tabs. So I've loaded in some image data and I've turned on the shortcuts here under perspective shortcuts, toggle branch control defaults, and toggle 2D window defaults, and that's turned on the branch I'm going to be segmenting, which is this aorta path that I've already created, and these reslice windows, which is just the slice along the path at this location here. And so I'm just going to quickly show how to create some of these segmentations. First thing I'm going to do is create 2D group surface. I'm going to call my surface aorta. And then I'm going to select current path and click aorta, like I said, and make sure that is selected for each 2D group surface that you do. That's selected to the correct path. And then at different locations, I'm going to create segmentations. So I'm going to start off with level set. I'm going to click in the center box here and hit enter on my keyboard. As you can see, there's two kind of circles that show up, one in yellow, one in red. Yellow is from the stage 1 parameters, red is from the stage 2 parameters. And you can find out what these different parameters do from the documentation. There's a bunch of different stuff going on. But the default value should hopefully work fairly well for the image data, but you might have to play around a little bit. And once I've created this segmentation and I like it, like I've showed in other videos, you can click add to group. That adds that current segmentation to your group surface. So that's level set. If we go to a different spot and we want to do threshold, we have a threshold value that we set, and that will select that portion of the image data, that intensity. If we do threshold intensity, you can also do potential, which is this image here, or a local potential maximum. This is more complicated, and you can look at the documentation to understand more what that does. But something we need to do here is go to display options, threshold, and make sure this threshold is turned on. And once we've done that, you can do segment current position, and you can see here my threshold has shown up in this blue. So we can play around with this value, kind of see what it does. 100 looks worse, so let's go the other way. That looks a little bit nicer, and once we're happy with that, we once again click add current position to group. So that's threshold. The next is analytic, so you can just create a circle or an ellipse if your image data is pretty close to a circle, like here. This looks pretty close to a circle. I want to make sure the center, this green initialization sphere, kind of lines up right. So I'm going to move that down, and as you can see, this radius is too big. So I'm going to change that, make circle. That looks a little bit better. Let's go to 1.2. Okay, that looks good. So I can add that to group. I can also make an ellipse if I want with the perimeter, and then you have the two different axes of your ellipse. So let's see what that looks like. Obviously in this location, the image data doesn't look like an ellipse, so you wouldn't do that, but it is possible. Next one we want to do is manual. So go to a different spot. Say for some reason we're at a branching location and threshold or level set will pick up this part of a branching vessel that we don't want. So what we can do is we make sure this parallel projection is turned on. Click that, and now we're set up to be able to segment this. So what I'm going to do is click in here and click A to add point, and then every time I want to add a point, I click A, So you can see I'm just kind of going along the perimeter here. And then to finish off, I press C, and I've created this circle here. And so if I'm happy with that, I can click Add to Group. So you can see from manual segmentation, depending on how many points you add, it's just a linear interpolation between the points that you add. So you can actually do some smoothing if you want in this tab. Make sure we're at the level set, because we've selected to create the manual segmentation as a level set and to be displayed as a level set. So what we do here is come to the Smooth tab, and then we can actually Fourier smooth this segmentation. So I'm going to click Fourier smooth, and you can see it looks a little bit smoother. Maybe one more time. Yeah, and it looks pretty nice. And so I can actually update and override the current segmentation by clicking Add to Group. And there's other options here as well. You can copy a previous segmentation and paste it in a new location. You can scale your segmentation by a certain amount to make it larger or smaller, or even move it around. So a bunch of different options here. And then the last thing is this Batch tab, and this is only works well for really nice image data sets where a certain set of parameters work well throughout. So say for some reason you found level set parameters that work really well for your image data set, and you want to create a bunch of segmentations quickly. What you can do is you can do this batch, and what it will do, it'll start at the beginning of your path and go to your end of the path, and by a certain spacing. So you'd say 0 to 50 in segmentations of 10, 0-10-50, and then you click this batch segmentation button, and every 10 positions it will create a new segmentation for you. And so that's pretty nice to create segmentations quickly. But hopefully that shows you some of the different stuff you can do for segmenting in some vascular. Hopefully you have a great day as well. All right, thanks.